Hello everyone, so welcome back for a new stream. So today we're not gonna work on a big asset or anything, we're just gonna work on this castle. The goal will be to furbish it, so I've already made the layout of it. This castle has been asked to me with like some specification regarding needs in terms of rooms or everything, but after I drafted the plans of the main castle and everything, and now I've made already just the base shapes of each floor. I think it's important to do that first to define the shape of your castle or whatever you want to build, then see on the inside how it works, how spaces work together, and make interesting stuff there. So we have the first floor here. It's going to be kitchen, a guard room, pose room, something like that, to rest a bit. Just common quarters. Here I'll probably put a door. Let's do it right away actually. So if I put a door there, the goal is to will be to make a small room. The goal will be to make a small room just for like put some creator stuff in there. So I'll see what I can do. As you can see there, we have a slight gap between the tiles. So just to alleviate this problem, I'm gonna activate the grid, select the correct height, and we're just gonna slap it underneath to avoid those pesky issues if someone is looking at it. So there is no visible gap. Same on the other side. So obviously I've activated clipping and I'm maintaining the shift key to stay on the same height. Like as a reminder, if you want to clip something, you need to activate this toggle clipping there. And when you clip, actually you maintain shift to clip it. But what it does additionally is that it maintains the same grid height as you're based upon when you start shift clicking. So you see my grid height is there. Shift click and move it here. So I can slide this asset across anything. It can be really useful to quickly like take a grid height and see where it is and just move an asset. And when you release shift, the grid height comes back to what it was or what it's set to actually. So there it's looking good. I think I can remove those two, and to stay consistent with the style I've chosen, I'm gonna put that there, and probably gonna put an like normal door. I like door to open towards the outside. It's easier to see the door is open, like that. Like if it was open, it would be easier to see for me and the players. And it's always better because if it's open towards the inside for small rooms like that, it means you're losing some effective space to put some stuff, or it will look weird because the door is going to be a little bit inside. So there, first floor, little storage room. There you can go up the stairs, and this is, so to me, like a castle. You have obviously somewhere to make receptions or to have like officials or just parties and stuff like that, guests. And to receive those guests, you have like the main room over there, which is going to be like a ballroom, dinner room, stuff like that. So there is like plenty of windows, nice see of the you can nicely see the garden and everything. So it's quite a nice and big room. And on this floor there is not much else because it's really like a floor that's supposed to be like guests are not supposed to go higher than that. This is like the main where the folks are received, the main folks and everything. So when you are invited to go further into the castle, you take those stairs, which leads to more commonly used part of the castle, like the private part of the castle, if you want to say. arrive there. There is a huge berg, obviously. So, which one? Yeah, that one is not correct, I think. No, it was the inverse, obviously. Yeah, like that. This is gonna be the war room. I'm sorry for my pronunciation. Yeah, sorry, I see that. Well, the clipping berg actually is due to a save issue, meaning that I've moved the tiles around quickly, copy paste probably, or save, just moving them, deleting them, and moving back them again in the same place. And the game has a hard time sometimes, I think, saving the state of those deleted tiles. So it makes either ghost tiles or it makes zombie tiles, I call them. It will mean that if I have two tiles that are one together like we saw, if there is a ghost tile, when I want to take it, it disappears. And if this is a zombie tile, so it's physical, it's actually two tiles that are overlapped and the save did not work properly. So just fix it like that. Yeah, regarding save, it happens. Yeah, you see there's something weird. Yeah, same. Like here, it was a ghost tile, meaning it did not properly save the state of it, because the one I wanted is that one. So visually it was good, but when I picked it up, it was the old one. So it's weird. This is a bug that's not too predominant. It happens a little bit, I'll say like probably 1% of the time, but because you place 2000 tiles, it's happened quite a lot. But it's not too bothering, and it's really like a bug that happens without reloading the board or anything. Like it stays like that. It's not just a visual glitch. And with Control C and Control Z, the main issue I have is that I can't say why there is some issues. Sometimes it works perfectly, and sometimes it will not. Mainly replace something I've deleted. I think it's only in that way. I've not seen it like remove something I've placed, it works, but to replace something I've removed, it has a lot of issues. So yeah, I was explaining the floors, and just a quick look around. This is the menu board I'm working on. I'm not gonna show too much because that's not the goal. So yeah, floor 1, floor 2, main room. War room, so this is where the lords or like discuss war strategy or any plans. I've made it just because I want to use that marvelous asset that is the war table, and I think it's one of the beautifulest or most beautiful asset on the game. I don't know, I like it. It's like a mini board in a board game, and it looks really fun. It's really nice. So that one is really cool. Obviously my room is like shaped like an S, so it will not be centered, but I'll see what I can do about that. This is one of the main vision of my design, is that I won't redo the whole castle just because this is not perfectly centered. I'm gonna work around it, and it will create a more organic and interesting space. Maybe like benches or table or something, and it will be more interesting in the end. And the comment I had for the castle was to have a lady room and a lord room, which is actually a baron. I don't know the name in English. I think it's a baron, a baroness and a baron there. So it will be more ladyish. So I'm gonna put like the version of that which has shit. Yes. Like that. And this will be an office space for the lord, so like a private office space. I think if I put a door right there, so he's going to be able to have his room and work there and have a small workspace, something a bit secretive, maybe some chest and anything, so it can work. There you can go up, so this is like the last floor, and you're up to the guard room, so probably some beds, maybe over there, just a place for the guards to hang out. have their duty or anything. I'm not sure really yet. Chemin garde, I don't know the name in English. It's just a place where they can walk around and have their like duty, looking out everywhere. And last story of that tower, I don't really know what I'm gonna do because there is no real access. So maybe I'll work one from down there. So yeah, I'll see. I've built the castle first, the main shape of it, and then I've just making passes of details. There you can see I wanted to add more details to the roof, so I've created that shape. There I needed some space for the stairs, so I've modified that one. So like little by little, just make passes, and it makes for a more interesting creation. What we can look at there, if I move the sun a little bit, is that we have a first floor that's really like something strong and solid for the main building. There you have, for the two towers, is daube on the first floor, torché in French. So you have daube over there to signify it's like lesser buildings. But if you go around, actually the two towers are reinforced. So you have really a feel that this is the main building and those have like fortification around it. So it makes for nice details. Second floor is the same, nice pillars in the corners and everything. The third floor is starting to get a little bit lighter in material, so you have like simple corners with just a wood beam. And last floor is daube again, really more lighter, and make for a building that has continuity in the style, but is interesting to look at because of variations. As you can see there, I first made a draft of the building like that without any details. And without any details, obviously, there's a lot more discrepancies in the look of your building. But then you start adding the wood beams and the main pillars that goes through the whole building, and then the chimney that goes up and down like that. Really nice, actually, to use the chimney blocks like that. And little by little, your building starts to make sense. You can really see it going, like you have stones there repeated there and on the walls, so little by little you're starting to make a general feel for your build. And even if you have like different tile sets, they start to match together because they tell a story and they make sense, and that's how I try to approach things. Obviously I had an idea coming to that building, but I've taken, I don't know, half an hour just messing around with builds, just making a facade without anything behind it, and trying to find the best style that I liked. And that was also doable, you know, if the style I like very much but involves 200% clipping or something really weird, I'm maybe not gonna do it, either because it will be too hard on the game, or it's just not practical to build or to play, which is something you have to keep in mind. This is the same for the floor plan I've made for each floor. That I've not planned it before. It was, the castle was hollow, and I just built upwards, making the floor a plan. I had general floor plan in my mind, but I've changed it quite a lot creating the stuff because I see something that's not practical. And what I try to do is make interesting spaces, spaces that will be interesting to look at, that looks realistic, but also are interesting to play through. Because if you arrive through the main gate, there you have already two options to go with, and a third one there that I will not talk about for now. It will be something for you to discover when you play the map. What sort of FPS do I get with this build? I've not the FPS activated right now, but from what I can feel, I'd say at least 90. I have like a 144 Hertz screen, 2K resolution, which is I think the most taxing thing. It's like the 2K resolution. And I have an RTX 2060 Super with an AMD processor that's equivalent of an i7, I think. I never remember AMD processors. So my build is pretty beefy and brand new. I just built it before the confinement, so I'm pretty good in terms of FPS. I've never had issues. I think FPS tends to go down for me when there is boards that are really huge in terms of area. Yeah, Reason processor. So really big in terms of area. So I think it's when like the game has to calculate a lot of stuff outside of the camera view probably, and also when there is more players, so that can be due to bandwidth, and maybe the fact that there is players that are able to interact with their minis. The game is like really more struggling with that, which I can't really prove. I have no idea what I'm talking about. So there, it's not on the screen for me, but when it was, I had like 144 FPS at max, and I can go down to 40 or 60 with heavy builds. So that's why with those boards, I try to get something that's not too clippy or reduce numbers of assets compared to smaller builds I make to ensure that it's playable and not too strenuous on the computer. Yeah, and the game runs on really bad hardware, I would say, or like really low end or more low end than what I have currently, and it runs really well. And one main thing with TaleSpire is that you don't really care about FPS. It could be 10 FPS, it would not really hinder your game experience if you can still like move your minis and everything, because you play the game like that, like being still. You don't move around all the time and just being action shot. No, you don't really care about that. So I think it's good to like for now the game is really optimized. It's not really optimized, but it works well enough for beta. And obviously it will run better, and I think it runs still quite good on a lot of different machines, and that's the main important thing for now. We play with a variety of players that have different computers, and only one is having issues with it. And my GPU memory, I think it's uh, 8 gigabytes of VRAM with the Super. It's 12 with the TI version of the 2060. But 8 is really good. Like on the at a at 1060 6 GB of VRAM before that, and it was still already really good. I think what's gonna help people the most, if we don't optimize more the game, it will be visual options like downscale, maybe reduce graphical fidelity, line of sight if there is some, and a few like just options to reduce like light quality and stuff. Because right now it's quite good. Shadows are well defined. Shadows could be like a huge improvement because there is a lot of them, and they look really good. Like you can go really up close to them. So yeah, probably stuff like that. But yeah, for now it's not really a discussion we can have because it is not optimized. It's not the goal for now, but there is a lot of room to improve performance on TaleSpire, which is great, meaning that it runs great right now and it will run even better next. So let's start with the Furbishing actually of everything. I'm just checking if I have everything set up correctly. Yeah, sound is correct. Mercer in the chat, if you can tell me like music and my microphone. Okay, so I've just discovered something that I'm really happy with, is that you can blend the castle table with the other one, and they blend just like perfectly to only show the content. It's not too cropped at the base of it, and it's amazing. Ocean from that early. Well, I'm sure I'm not the first one, but for me it's a first time that I see that, so I'm gonna use it definitely. But for the kitchen, I think they don't have that fancy tables. they have food, obviously. So I think what I'm gonna do is that they're gonna prepare food over there. Probably gonna have a pantry there. Probably 1 or 2 tables for the cards, and more pantry over there. So can I make something interesting in shape out of it? I would love a third table. I think when you can start to have a lot of visual variation when you have 3 different assets of the same tile. Like if there was just a third table, you could just mismatch them just well enough to have a lot of variation, and 3 is often enough. Yeah, and I see in the chat that Mercy is talking about chairs and tables, and right now what I'm missing a lot is just chairs, like chairs that are not tied to any table. I would so much love that, because I can do it like that, but that's a bit hacky, and as you can see, it starts to have a lot of issue. But if you don't move, it looks okay-ish, but I'm not about okay-ish, I'm about making the fucking best. Okay, something I've realized too is that if you shift into something and you like let go of shift before the animation of the table dropping, it will not drop inside it. The worst contender in that is the trees. Because the trees, they take a fucking long time to drop. So if you click and let go of shift, sometime do not finish. It's maybe my timing, but actually my experience has been that. So probably a little bit of improvement to do there. I love that table without anything too, because that one main issue is that you can't put anything, because this is a case, this is a grid, like square, grid square, grid square, meaning that if you put assets on top of it, it will be on the rim of the table, and that's, why would you do that? Because that table looks great, that one. So yeah, workbench I like, a lot of interesting purpose. That one, I think the texture is a bit rough compared to that one. It feels like it should be the same size as this one, and would explain the subpar quality texturing. So we need to know what we're making currently, and this is a rich castle, so we don't really have to hide the food. Like this would be a lot of food, but in this castle it's normal. It's like it's a rich, powerful baron, so you can have a lot of food on the table. Like when you have a kitchen that big, I think you can afford to have a little food on the table. Counters too, I would like for them to be a little bit bigger, because what I do there is a bit hacky and it does not even work apparently. There's a gap, damn it. And it's something to put there. I think I can maybe, if I do it like that. Okay. Fine enough. I think the main issue I have is that you have a lot of plates and pictures and stuff, but none of them work on the table. Like if I go to food and I go pumpkin pie, it works on that one, but there's a lot of stuff already, so what's the point? And if you want to put it there, what's the point? Works probably on the castle table though, so I'm gonna do that for the castle table. So let's say we have that one there. Nice. Light. I often put lights either last as a last thing, or I try to incorporate quickly into the build, because you build rooms around light. Like a fireplace is a really important piece of a room, so often everything centered around it, because it's practical and because there's a use to it. Like if you have a chimney, you're gonna definitely use it in a room, so you need to think about that, which we often do by habits. Like if you see a chimney, you're just gonna put stuff around it because we're used to it, but it's good to have that process forced sometimes, like to think about it, because then you can realize interesting stuff with that. Like, okay, maybe all the time I want something centered around it, but maybe this time I'm gonna change. So once you realize the process, the building process, or like the architectural process you take for granted, once you realize them, you can start to have more interesting discoveries following that. The issue I have too is that walls are either centered or off centers, meaning like there, this is like following close to the grid, and that one there is a gap, meaning that if you put anything, there will be a gap, so you have to work around with that. This is an issue, a bit hard, because you either have like a wall that is as thick as the grid square, or it's just half of it, and then if it is half of it, it's either in the middle of it or one side. So I don't know, it's a design philosophy there. You either choose one or another, and you have to work with it. What could we put there? Cheese. Always put cheese. And if possible, not floating cheese. Yeah. Can I put something else? Nah, I'm gonna put cheese. Cheese is good. I would also love more the contextual menus you can have, like with a wall. When I select it, you can see down there I have a black bar with the selection of walls and everything. I would love to have it more common on different assets like crates, table, so you could just pick one and cycle through all the iterations a bit more quickly. I think it would be great. It will allow you to just pick anything in the scene and go through iteration quicker. So okay, we have something that's starting to get interesting. Okay, so okay, Gatto I used a lot because it's a really nice asset to just plug somewhere like that, and you can either have a light tunneling from it, or you can or you can just dangle anything else from it, or just make it a support for something like there. It could work well. And now if I set the grid just below it, damn it, if I set the grid just below it, I should be able to take the lantern and make it seem it's attached. And obviously I went too high. Yeah, there. If you don't see it, it will still provide light, and it makes for, again, a more interesting room. And yeah, as Mercer said in chat, it would be nice to be able to create asset really quickly, like a combination of them, save them, and be able to plug them again really quickly. Would be useful. So there, what I want to do is maybe put a cauldron to it. I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to work it out because it's gonna look probably weird if it's too high. So I have two solutions here. Yeah, should be that one. Yeah, okay. Does it look weird? I think it looks okay-ish. Not 100% happy with it. So maybe if we go down like that and use it again, yeah, perhaps. It's a bit long still, but better than anything. Yeah, probably use that one because that one is too high for me. So I think this one. So yeah, this one is smaller. So yeah, it looks better. Well, it's interesting. So now I can just put like this space is not going to be used much, but I will probably leave it empty. So I'm just gonna put a cauldron over there. Grab some food, and I have to open to the cat because he's screaming outside. There you go. Yep, sorry. Cat attack. And I'm just gonna put the biggest pie I can find inside it, and it looks a bit fuller. I think that's better. There I'm gonna probably put some wood. This is something I like to think is practical, is that if you have a chimney you need to have some wood somewhere. Obviously I won't find it in the list apparently, but I know that I've plugged it there. I don't really like this asset. Like, it's good if you put it once, but it does not stack really well. It would need like maybe a bigger wood stack asset, but we can put it once or twice there, just like wood waiting to be used for the kitchen. This is like a back alley place. You can just like where soldiers maybe like would have a smoke if smoking existed in that time, but just hang out and then wait to go to the like training ground. So it's basic. I'd love to have hay bales to put behind it to make more of an archery stand, but still looks great, and you understand directly what it is. I think you quite get it. It's a castle, so there's a training ground, makes sense. So starting to look pretty good. I think I'm gonna use that there and there. I'm gonna put corner piece here to finish it, so it's a bit fuller, you know, and more interesting. There it's a bit empty, so what can we do? Let's look at the props we have available. So empty barrels are good. Baskets, like you often have baskets like laying around in a castle. This is the main way of transporting stuff. Bench, maybe. Barrack, definitely not. Bookshelf, not on the first floor. Chairs, no. Crates, I think we'll probably add more crates. This is a bit of a darker place. There's some, I'm probably gonna look at adding some light. Sacks, I like. A small bench, always useful. Torture device, maybe not. Weapon rack, yeah, I'm gonna continue the theme there that guards are using this room to maybe have a break or something. So sadly, it seems to go into the wall. So if I put it there, it's not really good, eh? So there it works. I think it's, can I cross it like that? Doesn't make sense. Looks a bit weird. Wood pile, not really. So yeah, I think we're gonna do the work with crates. So because this space is a bit darker, even if I put some lights, there will be less than that. And there you can see you have some lovely windows. Am I able to make a nice screenshot? There. Maybe. Okay, need to put that back. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna, to lighten the mood there, I'm gonna put like the rest of those crates. What you have to know is that those crates actually are just a little bit smaller than the dark crates, which is great when they're next to each other, but it's bad because the light crates are actually not smaller in their like physical size for the game, only visually, so assets gonna float on top of it. But normally you can't put the camera like that, so I've hacked a bit the game on my side to be able to do that. So normally you would not be able to have this camera angle, not able to share it. Sorry, it's just like on my PC I've done some stuff and I'm not really sure I can either share it or will be able to. So sorry about that, but I'm sure that more camera control will come around. So let's go. And I don't know if you can tell already, but one of my favorite assets to use, the lantern, because it's so lovely to use. I really like it. So maybe a bit something like that, and I put it on top of some counters. Could be something of interest there. So like that. And we have the corner here, and we use that to hide the ugly truth. Or may I? Does it? Yep. Oh yeah, okay, issue I have is that I have a window, so maybe I can just do it like that, take that one. And yeah, sorry, not like it. It would have been the perfect art of camouflage, but it's not. So maybe just a bench there. Like small bench. Oh, it works. Yeah. A few assets behind it. Small crates to lighten the mood. Yeah, fruit basket, like a little bit big. Fruit basket over there. Small baskets there, I guess. Or I'm able to get a bit there. There. And small bench. I think you can put it there. To watch where the fireplace. Yeah. So I'm obviously much slower when doing this by myself. Oh, by doing this while I'm streaming by myself, it's just the internal monologue is much faster. So, kitchen. A lot of it is also just me looking at the props list and asking myself, would that work? Is that something interesting? This is not perfect, but I think it visually it fills up the room a bit better. Those barrels aren't really big, but that one is more interesting. So probably that one is not more interesting. It's just smaller, meaning it fits a bit more in more options. So yeah, I think I like it. As I said, don't want to over furbish those interiors, so to keep performance light, because we have already something that's quite big, and I assure you it's not finished, so it will just keep growing. But the castle is one of the hero assets of this board, meaning that that's something you want to focus on a bit. You know, it's the big thing. So there, entrance of the castle, maybe. Can I do something interesting there? I would like to fill it a bit more. So there, maybe like that. Then so obviously I said not to put too much stuff in one place, and I put like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 assets in the same place. But you know, do what I say, not what I do. Okay. What's happening there, fella? Okay. Better. Maybe some light. Something simple, not too big. Does it look better than sandal one? I think they emit or almost the same amount of light, so not really a big issue. And there's really something that wants to get out. Obviously, I took the wrong one. Okay, so yes, there's a pantry room. So there's no real way to put cupboards. What's the name in English? Like storage shelves. Yeah, shelves. But I'm just gonna use crates because I don't like to make shelves with benches that are stacked one on top of each other. I think it's not nice to look at, so not gonna do it. Yeah, just like that. No need for light in that, just a bit more interesting space. And a small detail that can look okay is paper. You take it and slide it just a little bit underneath, and it makes a macro variation that is a bit interesting. So now, moving up in the world, we're making the ballroom, reception room. So that one is a bit of the same food theme, but what I'm gonna keep is that I'm gonna use what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna use the castle tables, which work also if you put them in a wall. Nah, not really. So we'll see what we're able to do using the space, but first I want to use the wall asset that has this pattern on it. I've made first my walls like only walls, then I've added windows to it, and it shows that was done badly. I've only added windows to it, and now I'm gonna work on adding some variation, like to create more interesting stuff. I would love another wall with something else on it, something more, but this is already something interesting to play with. So maybe one and one there. I think it would be best to have like symmetry on the entrance, and perhaps one there, like that you can see over the corridor. If I put one there, it would be, I think, too much, and you have already one there. So everywhere you look at, you see one or more, but they're not really aligned or symmetrical, so it looks okay. So maybe you enter that way. So how would flow work in that room? I've placed a table there, but already I see that maybe if I put like seats there, I can make something interesting. So maybe a big table there. Big table there. So you come up here, and here there's like a presentation, or you can speak and everything. This is the main table, and another table with food. What makes sense? Or could do it like that, probably. And make something over there. I don't know what works the best for now. I'm gonna just see what chairs I can use. So perhaps that one. They're a bit heavy. Can I put them more in the floor so they look like the proper height that I want? Probably. Yeah, I think that's better. This is what I'm always trying to think is that I see an asset, its purpose is X, but how can I change that purpose to be something else, or how can I just change that purpose a little bit to use that asset in multiple or in different situations? And there it looks better for my use, and I think it will make more sense when you see the other chairs behind it. It will be less big. It's still like the royal or the big chair, but it's less interesting. Or what I could even do is that. Sorry, just that actually. And that one's bigger, but you see it's much bigger, and it's actually too much. That's the only time I'm gonna say, like, sometimes too big is too big. And disappeared. So now, okay. And yeah, I attempted to make a joke on things being too big, but my English failed me because I'm trying to speak English while making something interesting. So maybe not gonna have more sits there, but maybe here. And they could work with being in the ground too. Nah, they cannot. So maybe just leave room. Or do we want it to be more cluttered? Hmm. Well, like that. I think it's interesting. It tells a story for me. It's like you have the main head there, the baron, the king, or anything you want it to be, and then like counselors or just people coming in to visit. They're not at the same table, but they all can see everything. But this one is like more important, and the flow thing is natural. Like if someone wants to bring a plate or anything, they have the room, and there you have space. Looks somewhat medieval enough for me. So we're gonna say it works. Then we add those tables, and we said that if we fit them into the ground, so maybe like that. Yeah. So you see a bit of the wood behind it, but really not too big of a deal for me. You see, with the third asset, it would be quite just a tad better, because now we would not have, or we'll have way less repetition. Like this is 50% repetition, and with the third asset, we will only have like 24% or 20%. But now, what I can do is that I can first put my lighting, the smoke candelabra, which looks quite funny. Turn it. That one looks better because it's on the side of the table, but it has only one flame, which is funny, I guess. That one. So this one is smaller, but I think it looks weird when it's too close to the other one. So I'm just gonna have a that asset is holy moly, don't like it. Pie, my lord, and obviously never forget the cheese. which is essential, and a picture. Where are you gonna fit? Not there. Not there. So probably there. Yeah. Okay. And now create just a little bit of symmetry, you know. It's important to have it in a room too. It's like you have this, it tells something interesting, like you have two person, maybe the most important one, and then four advisors that not facing the person, and then you have the four lighting there that look great. Now my question is, am I able to make a carpet out of the floor? Let me not use it that. And so you see, I've not tried to stuck too much with my original design of the room. Like I saw that was interesting to make it that way, so I've just changed it, and now it looks much more interesting. Or maybe there I could make a bigger carpet to avoid repetition on that side. So now it's, now that I've seen it, it's bothering me a little bit. So we're gonna see what we can do. And does it look better? So again, experimenting is key there. You want to see what you can find. Does it make sense? Is it nice? Can I sacrifice a goat to actually there? Yeah, there it looks nice. Like the room now is much more like meaning. If there is a carpet with that side, it means like someone's probably going to talk to those people over there, and the shape of the table makes sense, and everything came alive really quickly. So perhaps now I can, is there anything I can do in that room? I'm thinking making props like armor stand, but not sure it would fit. I think it would be a bit too much. I would like a more medieval decoration, like a full armor actually, or the statues, or some things like that. Bear rug could be interesting if I can fit it on the table. It's like, oh yeah, I think it works. Is it out of place? A little bit. Nah, it looks weird. It would be bizarre. I like the idea of having bear rugs under the feet of the owner of the castle, but okay. So for me, that one is good. So with that plain corridor that we could probably improve a bit, first with some lights. Just a simple single candelabra, making things a bit more livelier. I would love to put them like not in the center, but there, like making half squares or quarter squares. Or maybe I can put a window there. Yeah, would make sense. So there, window. Yeah, much better. So now if we gonna have a look at things, put the roof back, we go watch out by the window. You can peek through the window, perfect. So sorry, it's a bit janky. Just trying to zoom. Ah, yeah, no, it's my fault. If I zoom out too much, it's gonna get blurry. Yeah, there, much better. So you can see one difference too is that here the window has background and this one is empty, and something empty, the brain knows, or like you directly know that it's nothing that's color. So if I just like have something in the background, it looks much nicer. So let's see how we can like take a nice picture of this room. Okay, and maybe play a bit with the atmosphere. Green slump I don't like for most stuff, but for atmospherical shot when you're close to the subject, it has lovely blues and green hues that can be used. In interior, not so much, apparently. So if we do a night scenario a bit dark, would love to have more light coming in. Oh, you can see in the ground there a little bit. Can I have more of it? Yeah. So yeah. Oh, I've not seen that, but still have the damn picture in the way. Try to find back window. Yeah, no. Okay. So finished to mess around with that floor. I have just a little something more that I want to do. There's a stairway there. Okay, so you appeared here. What I want to do is make something more interesting here. So meaning that it's a bit empty over there, so it's gonna be, I think, more storage or stuff like that. Maybe the armor I talked about. So armor racks, what you can do is that put one on top of another to have a more complete look. Issue is that you have two assets in the same place, so you're just starting to piling up now, use more stuff, which is not obviously something you want to do too much, but I think one next to each other they make for a nice variation. And I can probably fit them not on top of some crate, which I can most probably just dump into the floor, and now it looks a bit more interesting. And if I add the weapon rack, it's really bad. If I add the weapon rack, it's really bad. So maybe not. Just gonna put weapon rack there and like that to make more density. Looks a bit more interesting. And there I'm just gonna go to the Tarvin tile set, take the pillars and use them as wood support, because they get in the middle and it looks like an empty space. It's something you would not use too much. Put some crates behind here. Big one, a bit smaller one. There's a difference. Some various shenanigans. Maybe. Oh, yeah, it looks interesting. Like somewhat slightly huge. What's like a huge box? We'll say box because I don't have the English word apparently, and I'm unable to speak. So there, maybe at a window, just because it would just looks a bit packed without it. Like, yeah, a bit better. On the front, it's good, I think, because it's like the front of the tower and everything. But there, a window does not hurt anything. We have the chimney going through, which I like. It's like a theme going on. It's like the chimney, first floor, second floor, and everything. So you can really follow it going through the tower. So how can we work with it? And I'd say, I would like to put something just right there, or maybe if I do that. Do you know what that is? Me neither, but makes for an interesting build. There I'm missing something. So it's like a room where you can get out chests, maybe. Like laser chests. And we want to put them on the table. That one will do the trick. Yeah, that one is good for that use. I feel like just making something that's inside walls. It looks a bit better than just full alone. And now go to paper. And centric, as I told you before. Just plug them like that, and does it work? So we just put them underneath. Like some papers were spilled, and maybe we can grab a book. So books are interesting because they're varying height. So you could easily put them one underneath here, and it looks almost okay. So depending on the book pile you take, you can have various results, which for now are not paying off. Yeah, that one works. And That one works even better because you can just plug it into the wall, and it's not really too big of an issue. And maybe you can do that too. That's not particularly nice, so a bit better. I think we can improve that with some light. Yeah, just over the edge there, so. Okay, so now we have a much more interesting room. It's still something simple, but you have something going on. Like, you know, it's a storage room, but there is still a bit of paper, like someone worked there. So now we go up the stairs. I'm probably going to do the same treatment here, but what I want to do first is the war room. So I'm going to grab some doors. Maybe like some sturdy doors. Like, you don't want to be disturbed, but some pillars, like to make it extra strong. And we have a fancy door here, that one instead I'd like extra door, so it doesn't need to move that much. So war room, a room where someone can come and like make plans, maybe trading secret and stuff, and that music is bad. So war room, well, obviously again some, I think, armor. We want the wall to have the nice shield there to be shown. I want some weapon racks, and I have this. I don't know if I placed it somewhere. Oh, it's probably in the sky right now. So we could even do that, but it looks kind of weird. So weapon rack, does it work? If almost works. I put it higher. Nice iron on top of it, but I'm not sure it works. So armor, weapon racks, definitely chest. Not sure we want some sits, maybe one. Or obviously I think we want a work table, like something where it. Can we put the chest underneath it and so that it makes sense? Oh yeah, okay. Look for an interesting little detail. It's like if your players manage to find it, they can get a reward, I guess, because that's a bit hidden. Stay there. Yeah, okay, there. And it makes for a little thing. You don't see it that much, but if I look at it like that, I don't see it. But if I look at it like that, I just see it a little bit and just adds up, you know. I think castle table will it work? A bit too big, eh? But I can put it there and there. It's interesting. So maybe I'm gonna put it there. Remove that. Move that for the time being. Just scrap that. Put that there. And for me, it's a bit low. So perhaps if we put it higher and then remove that. Shit. looks okay. Would love to have some props that are more mystical or magic, just like a big sword, something like that. That would fit well in that room, because treasure is nice, but definitely not gonna put some there. But I think it would be interesting to have at least. Oh, could work. More props in general that you could just slap on the table and call it down. Because what I'm doing right now is a bit of obviously of a stretch. So I wanted something specifically, but I forgot. Yeah, books again. Because there we can have, I think, quite interesting slabs of books. Yeah, they're up there. They're in there. And that music is horrendous. Maybe a bookcase would fit nicely. I think bookcase behind it might be an interesting find. So it's probably gonna mean the death of my banner wall or like shield walls, but it's not too much of an issue for me. So now we have like a room that looks much stronger, like defended, so I like it. And it's not impact the overall style of the other rooms and everything, but that room, like, you feel it more secluded. I'm not sure where I could add more, sadly for now. Maybe I don't see it too much because it's lining up quite well. So it fills the gap a bit more nicely. I think I'm gonna accept this thing, which is not the nicest, but I'm gonna accept it because it looks interesting. And there we have, I think, a room that's interesting. Let's see if we can have a nice view out of it. So, oh yeah, I like it. Okay. Okay, so I think that's the most of it I can make as quite interesting vistas for that room. Let's go back to a bit more default settings. So now we have the lady room, which I think for now it's the most interesting I want to make right now, because it's a bit different from what I've made in the past. So let's see what we can do about it. Just gonna quickly swap that. So ladies room, I want obviously a bed, so a nice one. I think the red or blue is for boys. Let's go like that. So where would you put a bed in that room? I think you would put it right under the window. Does that make sense? Like you come up, maybe some nice bouquets. Like, let's just see quickly what I can come up with. Okay, bouquets there. Side table, I think, is where to neat a texture. Like it looks really like clean. I don't know, compared to the other type of woods you can find in the game. Though it works well in that type of setting, in my opinion. So there it could work nicely. It's a bit weird to have the table there. So can we play with it a bit more to make something more interesting out of it? Hard to fit. Okay. So for now, let's see if we just keep it that way. There, the idea I have is that maybe I want to use like table, writing table, but again, main issue I have with tables is that you can't place shit on top of them. So does the castle one works, but it will look weird, yeah, because it's gonna go through everything. And the wooden one is just quite big and it's not fit what I want. I just thought, would the workbench work? Yeah, yep, I like it. So there. Not sure I'm gonna be able to use this. It makes for interesting counter though. Yeah, if we could just it goes through the floor a little bit. Yeah. That I want on top of something, I think does not look really great alone. So if I do that, that a bit too high, but yeah, damn it. Okay, much better. Not perfect, but has more weight to it, more meaning. And there, so again, books. So this is the lady room, so there's a nice curtain. But then how can you make something a bit more lady-ish in TaleSpire at the moment? I'm not sure, especially with the bookcase that have like huge bird skulls in them. It does not look especially welcoming. No. Just trying to get a more pleasant vibe. So wood is a bit less cold, obviously, so it feels like a more cramped room, but a more cozy one too. So now back to that. So oh yeah, so that one I can really use to the full extent, perhaps. Yeah, okay, interesting. I'm just trying to make a book pile that looks a bit nicer than what I have currently. And does not clip too much, so I think that's okay. Oh, I like the idea of a diary, and this book pile is nice for it. So maybe a bit more hidden. If I put it inside, yeah. Can just put it there. She's been reading, you know. I tried to make a dry as I'm saying, but I'm not fully happy with it. Probably like that, and I think we're gonna use the same trick. But yeah, the same trick as, or we can use that. I think we can use a corner piece. Yeah, it's a bit better than anything, I guess. There we have more interesting room. Now I want to make it a bit warm, so I'm gonna do carpets. which in a castle you would find plenty of, because obviously stone is really cool to the feet, and carpet's also a symbol of luxury. So it's a really great way to show that it's like a more rich room. I'd like to put something there. I feel it's just tiny tad empty. What can I put there that's interesting? Definitely I want the bear rug to be in the lower place. Can I use a bench? A bench. Then clip it in the wall. Sadly, it doesn't work. I think I can leave it that way. It's an interesting room. Cannot really put a window there because like it's full on in a pillar. But I think we managed to make something interesting. So what if we look inside it? Like, oops, sorry if I tilt too much the camera. Right, like that. Okay, nice. Okay. Can we make a small picture? Okay, nice. Well, the Lord is a bit of that window, but it doesn't care. It's Lord, so it's not there for bathing in the sun anyway. So probably put the bed. I think it's gonna look weird if I put it there. So probably gonna put it really here. Probably make it double too, because you know he's the Lord. Can I put the bear on top? I don't know if I like it, but in any case, it's quite funny to look at. If I put it more underneath, looks like it's gonna try to grab you in the middle of the night. I think I like it. It's funny. So carpet wise, I'm just gonna do that one and that one. For the last one, I meant it to be smaller, but I'm gonna rectify it in an instant. So boom, 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 and voila. Yeah, I find myself to be much quicker at picking up stuff than just using the search bar. So small carpet, nothing fancy, too much fancy or too fancy, obviously. I want to use that table, but because for a room it's nice, but I'm gonna be forced to use that counter again. At least there is consistency in our build, meaning that a lot of stuff do look the same because of it. So at least that's that. Yeah, that one is not gonna cut it. That one, nah. So move that a bit better. I'm light-wise light. So, like, can we create a torch? Yeah, like a big torch. There, I want more. Then I'm just gonna put a normal rack, maybe on top of a crate to make it look, or I will see, like either crate, but okay, it works, but it looks a bit campment or something, not definitive. Again, we're gonna take castle wounds, and I think it's gonna look much more, yeah, much nicer. It's like, it's much more of a display. And behind it, you can put more bar stuff. Just like that. Not too much. Lighting is a bit freaking out. The Lord doesn't care much for reading, but you know, it's like you need to have some at least. But this is his main room. It's not like an office or anything. Probably to bang the kitchen maid. So it's a way rougher room. Otherwise, that one the Baroness like lives in it. So it's something that's much more private and intimate, whereas that one's it's much more functional. So there, I wanted to make an office. So I need to use wood. I want to use all the same wood. It's gonna look nice. And then I'm gonna try to make an office. So I want a chair, a nice one. I want, surprise, I want a table. Probably gonna use that one because I'm gonna be able to place stuff with that one. And looks great with that actually. Interesting. And there you can have much more libraries or bookcases. The more important stuff, at least, like the one it keeps from everyone. So there, what we can do to make them bigger is like double them like that. Also to make new variations of the same asset too. There. I'm gonna steal the wood beam ID just to have gaps that are more Nice. Just a nicer office. Light again. Maybe a small table there. Will I finally be able to use that one? You'll know in the next episode. Oh, okay. Looks much more like a cabinet. There's drawers. Not perfect from the top, but that's something at least. Yeah, you don't see too much if there's 3 of them, and inside it makes for much more interesting sighting. I'd love to have windows here, maybe one, like just one for that tiny room, but I think it came out okay. Probably, yeah, I think I like it. It's like a small office of the Lord. Probably can, yeah, like that is good. So that's all I'm gonna stream for today. I've been at it for almost 2 hours. I'm gonna finish the remainder of the castle by myself. There is this room, obviously. Not sure I'm gonna close it off. No need to have a gate there. And then we have the last floor over there, and that just folds up here. So just guard room, stuff like that. And I think I'm gonna be done for today because this has been a lot of time really working on the castle. This project probably gonna finish in another 6 hours, I think, because there's a lot I want to do still. So it's gonna arrive. Been taking a long time already. What? And that's it. That's the end. I think I like it like that. A nice new screenshot to add to my enormous collection of screenshots of the game already. I'm already, I think it's a few gigabytes. But that was a nice session. I hope you learned some stuff. I found new ways to make interesting rooms and assets. Obviously, if you have any question, you can always ping me later. And have a good day.